Season 1 of the fan-favorite TV series Yellowjackets just wrapped up in January, and fans are already buzzing about what's next to come. And now that Showtime has officially renewed the series for a second season, the fans are going wild. Join us as we look at all the crazy theories as to why Yellowjackets Season 2 will change everything as we know it. So, what went down in Season 1? Showtime's Yellowjackets is probably one of the weirdest shows out there, and we love it. Imagine Lord of the Flies meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The show follows a New Jersey high school girls soccer team that is left stranded in the Canadian wilderness after their plane crashes on their way to a national tournament in Seattle. Desperate to stay alive, the remaining members of the team learn how to hunt and scavenge until they eventually resort to cannibalism. The show follows two timelines, one of which is set in 1996 when the girls are stranded in the jungle, and the other is set in the present, which follows team members Shauna, Taissa, Natalie, and Misty. 25 years after they found their way home. Which characters are coming back? One of the most appealing aspects of Yellowjackets is that we never know what will happen. Things are constantly changing. There's never a dull moment in the show. The plot is built up in such a way that the teams and survivors' identities are gradually revealed in each time frame. Season 2 is expected to keep the surprises coming, which makes any speculation about future episodes difficult to predict. Will we get more flashbacks from before the crash? Will there be more survivors? Will there be any supernatural events in the present day timeline? This also makes it difficult to predict who will return for Season 2. If the dual storyline continue, the adult and teen versions of Shauna, Taissa, Natalie, and Misty are very certain to return, and it would be a shame if they didn't. As for the rest, we'll surely be spending more time with Lottie and Van as teens after the events of the Season 1 finale, where they dig deep into the supernatural side of the island during the group's first grueling winter. Let's take a look at Season 2's central plot. The key conflict will most likely be centered around Lottie's rise as a cult leader 2 decades ago and her resurgence in the present. She kidnapped Nat at the end of the first season, and it'll be up to Shauna, Ty, and Misty to save their friend. The only problem is that Shauna will have to deal with the fallout from murdering Adam, especially now that her daughter Callie is aware of it, and not to mention that Ty is literally possessed by a supernatural force that causes her to decapitate pets. So, where do we go from here? Now that we have the basic plot of Season 2 down, let's get down to the juicy stuff. We were left scratching our heads by the end of Season 1. There are so many mysteries waiting to be solved in Season 2. Like, who is the girl in the pit? Are we ever going to see Coach Ben again? And what's going on with Ty? Next, who is the girl in the pit? The very first scene of the entire series still remains largely a mystery. The eerily cryptic opening sequence of the first episode portrays an unknown woman running away from something through the wilderness. The woman stumbles through the frozen jungle and plummets to her death in a spike-laden trap. We kept getting more and more clues as to what was going on in this scene as the story progressed, but one thing we never found out is the identity of the girl. The showrunners have actually made a point of not revealing the woman's identity. They even used body doubles while filming the scene, so not even the craziest of fans could find out who the woman is. The woman was wearing a clean white nightgown, which feels very out of place in contrast to what the other survivors are wearing. This subtle yet key difference makes the woman stick out from the rest. There are currently 2 theories about who this mystery woman could be. One theory suggests that the woman is actually someone from the island, hence her different clothing, while some other fans believe that the woman is actually one of the survivors of the plane crash and that she's running away from the other survivors. Why, you ask? Well, you see, as the season progressed, we saw some of the survivors retort to cannibalism with complete ritualistic killing ceremonies. But this woman could have just been another victim of theirs. But whoever she is, one thing is for sure, that she's going to play a major role in Season 2. Why did Misty break the flight recorder. One thing that left a lot of fans perplexed was Misty's decision to break the flight record. When the storm interfered with the plane's technology and caused it to crash, we know that the plane crashed somewhere north of Canada's Rocky Mountains, but no one knows how far north it crashed. And once Misty destroys the flight recorder, there was no way for the authorities to locate them. The question is, why would someone destroy theirs and hundreds of others' only way to be found? The major story for Misty heading into season 2 will likely be a deeper look into her past, so as to figure out what made her never want to go back home bad enough to stay trapped on a creepy island. But we think it would be safe to speculate that the reason Misty wants to stay on the island is that her life back home is so tragic. We've seen enough of Misty's flashbacks to know how desperate she is to be loved. During the second episode of season 1, we see Misty get praised for her ingenuity and survival skills. Everyone starts to see her in a leading position, which makes Misty feel like she's wanted somewhere for the first time in her life, so it's understandable why she would want to stay there. Is Lottie possessed? We don't know too much about Lottie's past other than a flashback from her childhood, where we see how her premonitions made her parents think that she had schizophrenia. But we've seen many of Lottie's predictions come true. We've seen her perform unexplainable acts, like controlling a wild grizzly bear and letting her stab it. So, is she really physically or just mentally unstable? Is any of what Lottie does even actually happening, or is it the writers just messing with our heads? There has to be some truth to Lottie's powers, otherwise how is she able to persuade so many seemingly normal people to join her cannibalistic cult? We see Lottie and her crew carry out multiple vicious attacks against several of the other survivors. One of the biggest questions fans want to be answered in the second season is who is actually behind Travis's death. There were already hints toward the end of season 1 that Lottie had something to do with Travis's death, and it was all but confirmed when Natalie held her shotgun under her chin in the season 1 finale, only for a gang of individuals, likely members of Lottie's cult based on the emblem they were wearing, to storm into her motel room and capture her. What are their intentions with her? Was she kidnapped because she was looking into Travis's death, or was it for some other reason? Could they have murdered Travis and made it appear as if he committed suicide? Guess we'll have to tune into season 2 to find out. Is Taissa in Lottie's cult? While we're on the topic of Lottie's cult, let's talk about Taissa, or should we say Senator Taissa. We see Taissa's dark side emerge in both timelines. It's interesting to note that both times, Taissa's dark side comes out when she's under stress. A lot of people seem to think that Taissa is most vulnerable when she's under pressure, and this is when the woodland spirit enters her body, causing her to act out. And although we've never seen her go completely bad as of yet, the smirk at the end of season 1, after she won the election, left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Next up, the eyeless man. Taissa has seen this terrible creature as a child, a teen, and an adult on multiple occasions. He could just be a phantom of death that exists only in her imagination. Some fans believe he is the ghost of the hunter who lives at the cabin where the teens are staying. Others believe that this is the demon that has possessed Lottie and caused her to become a cannibal. Does Misty kill Coach Ben? Fans have been speculating that Coach Ben's days are numbered. A lot of people seem to think that Misty will try to kill Coach Ben in season 2. It certainly won't be the first time. We saw Misty try to kill the love of her life by poisoning after finding out he's gay. This could end up being an "if I can't have him, no one will have this" kind of situation. That's a wrap for this video. Are you excited for Yellowjackets season 2? What are your predictions? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.